Jane Smith was a 16-year-old girl with a short bobbed hairstyle, living in a small town outside of Mumbai with her father, 45-year-old John Smith. Jane's mother had passed away when she was young, so it had just been Jane and her conservative father for many years. One evening, John overheard Jane talking on the phone, giggling with a boy named Rahul Kumar, who was from a lower caste. Furious, John confronted Jane and demanded to know if she had been seeing Rahul in secret. With tears in her eyes, Jane confessed that 18-year-old Rahul was her boyfriend and that they loved each other. John was enraged, believing Jane had dishonored the family. The next morning, Saturday, August 1st, 2022, he forcibly dragged Jane out to the car, despite her pleas and cries. As he drove angrily towards V's Barbershop downtown, John lectured Jane about the shame she brought on them for even looking at a boy from a lower caste. "Please, Papa, don't do this. I'm so sorry. I won't see Rahul again," she cried. But John sternly lectured her about the shame she brought on the family for even looking at a boy from the lower caste. When they arrived at V's Barbershop, Jane was momentarily hopeful as she saw people passing normally on the streets outside. Surely her father wouldn't go through with this public humiliation. But her hopes sank as John tightly gripped her arm and pulled her towards the old-fashioned barbershop. John dragged Jane into the barbershop, where an older man named Vishal was cutting another customer's hair. When Vishal saw them, he greeted John politely. "Welcome, sir. What can I do for you today?" John shoved Jane into the barber's chair and said gruffly, "Cut it all off." Jane began to sob, pleading, "No, Papa, please." But John silenced her with a stern look. Vishal appeared uncomfortable but nodded reluctantly. He fastened the barber's cape around Jane's shoulders and picked up his electric clippers. Jane began to weep as Vishal brought the buzzing clippers to her head. She pleaded, "Please don't shave me bald, I beg you." But Vishal said, "I'm sorry, miss, your father insists." The clippers sheared off Jane's long locks in heaping piles on the floor. Jane cried bitterly as she felt the clippers ruthlessly shave her scalp completely bald. She thought of her dear Rahul and how he loved stroking her long, beautiful hair. In 10 minutes, Vishal had shorn Jane's head down to the skin, leaving her utterly bald. Jane ran her hand across her smooth, hairless scalp and sobbed. But John showed no remorse, paying Vishal and then pulling the devastated bald-headed girl outside by her arm. Jane kept her shaved head down in shame as John forced her into the car to drive home in silence. Once home, John sent her straight to her room, commanding she was not to leave until he allowed it. 2 months passed, and Jane's hair had grown out to a short buzz cut. One day, her father John told her coldly, "It's time for you to go back to the barber. I am sending you there to shave your head again." Jane pleaded, "Papa, please, not again." But John was firm. The next day, he drove Jane back to V's barbershop downtown. When Vishal saw Jane's buzz cut, he gave her a pitying look. But John ordered, "Shave her bald again." As Vishal clipped away what little fuzz Jane had grown out, she closed her eyes in shame. Soon her scalp was once again exposed, her head smooth and bare. But this time, instead of leaving her fully bald, John instructed, "Now cut her hair into a flat top." Looking apologetic, Vishal trimmed the hair on top of Jane's head into a short, flat-top haircut. The sides and back remained cleanly shaven. John nodded in approval at Jane's severe, masculine flat top. "That will keep her in line," he declared. Tears rolling down her cheeks, Jane reached up and felt the short, bristly hair on top of her head. The back and sides were velvety smooth. She had never felt so humiliated. John kept Jane's hair shorn in the severe flat-top style, marching her back to Vishal's barbershop every month for a fresh shave and trim. Each time, as Vishal ran the buzzing clippers all over her head, Jane prayed it would grow out before the next visit. But John closely monitored her hair growth, always ensuring she got shaved before it could grow out more than a couple weeks. At home, Jane was forced to wear hats or keep her head covered when John had guests over, as he was ashamed of her masculine haircut. The flat top made Jane feel exposed and ashamed, especially when she caught kids from school pointing and giggling at her bizarre hairstyle. She missed her boyfriend Rahul desperately, but did not dare contact him again. This strict control of Jane's hair went on for over a year. Then one day, John announced, "It's time you start acting like a proper woman. I found a husband for you." Jane's heart sank at the thought of an arranged marriage, but John had made up his mind. At her wedding a month later, Jane wore a head covering, hiding the flat top underneath. Only she, John, and Vishal knew of the humiliating secret beneath the veil. After the wedding, Jane soon realized she and Raj did not get along well. They clashed frequently, as Raj was very traditional and controlling. Eventually, Raj got an engineering job offer in Germany. Eager to get away, Jane convinced him to move there. She hoped the distance would improve their strained relationship. However, once they relocated to Germany, Raj revealed he actually liked Jane's severe flat-top hairstyle that her father had enforced. He told Jane, "I want you to keep your hair in the flat-top cut here." Jane protested, pleading to be able to grow out her long hair now that she was far from her father's control. But Raj refused, saying, "I am your husband now, and you'll do as I say." So despite moving halfway across the world, Jane was still forced to get her hair clipped into the same degrading flat-top style. Raj made her go to the local German barbershop monthly to get shaved bald on the back and sides with the top trimmed short. In public, Jane wore hats to hide the embarrassing hairstyle. She longed to fit in with the sophisticated people of Europe, but the flat top made her feel like an outcast. Trapped in a controlling marriage, Jane dreamed of the day she could finally make her own decisions. But for now, she remained under Raj's authority, her hair shorn according to his whims. In Germany, Raj insisted on accompanying Jane to the barbershop every month when she got her hair cut. He made a point of getting his hair cut at the same time. At the barbershop, Jane would reluctantly sit in one barber chair while Raj sat in the chair next to her. The two barbers would then set to work simultaneously clipping away. Jane would close her eyes in humiliation as the buzzing clippers sheared off all the hair on the back and sides of her head. Meanwhile, Raj would watch with satisfaction as Jane's feminine locks fell to the floor. After shaving her bald, the barber would then trim the top of Jane's hair into the severe flat top cut. Raj made sure to get his own hair trimmed neatly in a conservative business style. Side by side, the estranged husband and wife would sit there until the barbers finished. Then Raj would pay for both, and they would leave, Jane avoiding eye contact with anyone. The monthly barbershop visits were a stark symbol of Raj's control over Jane. She walked in with hair growing out, only to emerge with it once again shorn into the degrading style dictated by her husband. This ritual happened again and again. Jane hoped one day she could walk out of that barbershop with her hair long and free instead of clipped bare in the back. But that day had not yet come. After nearly 2 years of having her hair shorn into the enforced flat top, Jane finally gathered the courage to beg Raj to allow her to grow her hair out longer. At first, Raj refused, saying he liked her in the short, severe style. But after many tearful pleas from Jane, he finally relented. "Okay, I will allow you to grow your hair out," Raj said. "But there will be conditions." First, Raj dictated that Jane could only grow her hair to shoulder length and no longer. Second, she had to come to the barbershop with him monthly for maintenance trims. And third, if Jane ever disobeyed or displeased Raj again, he would immediately take her for a bald head shave as punishment. For a while, Jane enjoyed having shoulder-length hair again after years of having a forced, short, flat top. She took pride in styling her bob and finally feeling feminine. But then one day, Raj announced, "I have decided I want you to shave your hair into an undercut bob." Jane's heart sank. An undercut meant shaving the bottom section of hair while keeping the top longer. She pleaded with Raj, saying she wanted to keep growing her hair out, but Raj refused to budge. "You agreed I could control your hair as I see fit," he reminded her sternly. "Tomorrow I am taking you to the barbershop and you will get an undercut bob." The next day, Raj dragged the reluctant Jane to the barbershop. He ordered the barber, "Shave the back and sides of her hair short, but leave the top longer." Jane fought back tears as she felt the buzz of the clippers on the nape of her neck. Chunks of hair fell to the floor as the barber shaved up the back and sides of her head. When the barber finished, Jane had a severe undercut bob. The top was still about shoulder length, but the back and sides were buzzed down to stubble. She looked in the mirror, feeling the short fuzz with dismay. Raj seemed satisfied. "That's much better," he declared. "You won't be getting any long styles while you're my wife." Ashamed and degraded, Jane realized she had only won temporary freedom. Raj was determined to control her femininity by keeping her hair cropped short. In the following months, Raj kept Jane's hair shorn in the severe undercut bob style. He strictly monitored the growth, making sure she got it trimmed every 2-3 weeks so it could not grow out. Jane hated the masculine, edgy look of the undercut. She missed being able to style her shoulder-length bob and feel feminine. But Raj ignored her unhappiness. One day, Jane's friend Simran from work invited her to get coffee. There, Simran noticed Jane's shorn hair and undercut. "What happened to your hair?" she asked. Ashamed, Jane confessed how controlling Raj was and how he forced her to keep her hair short. Sympathetic Simran offered Jane a spare room at her apartment whenever she needed it. The next time Raj announced a barbershop visit, defiant Jane refused to go. Enraged, Raj grabbed scissors and chopped off the remaining long hair on top, leaving Jane almost bald. That night, Jane fled to Simran's while Raj was asleep. The next day, Raj was furious when he realized Jane left. "Hello, friends. I wanted to take a moment to thank you sincerely for watching my videos and engaging with my channel. Your views, comments, likes, and subscriptions mean the world to me and are what motivate me to keep creating content. If you're enjoying my videos, please consider sharing them with your family and friends. Word of mouth is so important for helping my channel grow, so I'd be grateful if you could tell others about me. And if there are any particular topics or stories you want me to cover in future videos, let me know in the comments. I love hearing your input. Your suggestions help shape the direction of my channel. Well, that's all for now. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for your support on this journey. I can't wait to continue connecting with you all through videos as the year continues. Until next time,